Ambazonia, special loyalty. Praise to our Savior who granted us the freedom. Our legends to the hero who brought along we gather. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation, flowing with and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
I'm grateful that you've been waiting. Today we are talking about Ndian. Ndian is an important state in Ambazonia and one of the most resource states in our homeland, but one of the most abandoned also, and we know why. First, my fellow people, thank you very much for your steadfastness. Today will be interactive. All my place day. My admin sec, you are always on time. Executive press secretary. Thank you people all for standing by and standing guard, ensuring that this generation writes the last chapter of the brutal occupier that has occupied our land. Didi Seuras, I am intruding into your fief today. Thank you for providing me much advice, which I am going to is going to be very invaluable in my discussions today. Greetings to our prisoners. Happy birthday to our great KP, King of the Parks. We thank you for remaining brave in the jail of the enemy, and we congratulate each and every one of you in prison. I call upon all of you to remain steadfast, not to blink, and to know that your suffering wouldn't go in vain, and also to reject the politicization of imprisonment, which has sowed a lot of confusion in our struggle. This is a liberation war and requires aptitude. It requires a different approach in the way that we conduct ourselves. I salute our people on ground zero, all our mothers, fathers, all those who are hiding and watching ACN. All on our place day, all on our place day. And keep watching the good news. As our DL once wrote, our identity is their nightmare. The truth is their nightmare also. They don't want us to listen to the truth. They don't want you to know who your problem is. And that Cameroon is the worst nightmare that ever visited our land. That Cameroon is the problem. Its occupation, its brutality, its violence against our people. It is an impostor, illegal occupier that has recruited from amongst us thousands of enablers masquerading as senators, chiefs, DOs, SDOs, parliamentarians to do the bidding for Cameroon, to work for the interests of Cameroon. They do not serve the interests of Ambazonia. You ask yourself this question. Can you tell us any airport that Cameroon has ever built in Ambazonia? One. Can you give us a seaport that they have constructed? Can you tell us a school that through the budget of Cameroon, if not through foreign donations, that Cameroon has really constructed and sustained? But you can name hundreds of institutions that they inherited, destroyed deliberately, and then force you and myself to believe in their own. That is the kind of occupier that took over our country. Yes, I'm the leader of the never again generation. Unblemished, unquestionable, and the no blinking type. On behalf of 8 million strong army, ready to deploy in the defense of an ideal whose time has come. And so Cameroon is an impostor, and you must know that. I know Ambazonians want to adjust and survive. You need to live. You don't need to survive. The misinformation, the miseducation that we have lived through for 62 years has created an adjustment mentality. We think if we are nice, they will treat us well. They don't know us. They have not made any effort to know us. They are interested in the land and in the resources, and in using us in times when it suits them as laborers. When it doesn't suit them, they bring in the Chinese, or they bring in others from different places to take over the jobs. So you must know the enemy. The enemy is Cameroon. The enemy are the enablers and the impostors masquerading in our land, serving Yaoundé. Because since you were born, there is no single hospital that has been erected within your neighborhood attributed to the government of Cameroon. Everything has been the initiatives of dedicated Ambazonians who have opened some of the best schools or mission schools that have been put together by the different denominations. So what is the use of Cameroon in Ambazonia? Why should anyone bat for them? Tell me one reason on earth why you want to be a Cameroonian. One. I just need one reason why you want to be a Cameroonian. And for each reason you give me, I will give you 1,000 why you should not adopt the identity of your enemy. This struggle is not about hate. This struggle is not about some idealism because, we want a country or we want this and that. This struggle is not simply because we want to carry arms and go around shooting one another. It's a result of hundreds of years of impostors lording it over us for their own interests. I will be speaking about Lebialem in the coming days. And I came to realize yesterday the origin of the word when we say Bangwa. It's like when we talk of Ba Mendankwe, that's Ba Mendankwe. That's the people of Mendankwe. So when we talk about Bangwa, we are talking about Bangwe, the people of Ngwe. And then we definitely just call it Bangwa. Wonderful story coming from Lebialem. The betrayal of the phone of the chief by the Lewo people. And he's taken away from his people and and exiled into Garoua until the Germans were defeated before he was brought back. And the movement, a lot of this you will hear, the beauty of our country, a wonderful history, a history of struggles and strives. So as I've said, this struggle is not simply about hate. It's not, you know, trying to kill one another, trying just to fight. For more than 120 years, Ambazonia has been under the grip of one colonial master to the other. What is it that has benefited us? Why are they interested in having us as a colony? What are they afraid of in allowing us to be free and independent like every free people? What is special about us that every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to occupy us? If we are useless, so bad, so poor, what is it in our land and in our people that interests these colonial masters? The Germans came, insisted on having us, defeated, they took us, handed over to the British. As the British were leaving, the French thought, no, this is our time. Your time to do what? This is the story of Ambazonia. And it's a story you should know. It's a story written by victors. This is one of the first times. This is one of the first times that we are able, without fear or favor, to tell our own story and to insist that we have a right to exist free from any alien rule. And there are some amongst us who believe we must be part and parcel of the butchers of our people, the invaders of our land, and the violators of our territorial integrity. For heaven's sake, my people, what is it about a man or a woman who steps into his or her own living room and finds an invader, a rapist, and insists that you must share your living room without invader? Where is your manhood? Where is your womanhood? I mean, sometimes it's simply about pride. To be independent. Why do you think the Scots don't want to be English? Why? Why is the Irish insisting to be called the Irish? Why would Northern Ireland insist on not be part of the United Kingdom, or part of the United Kingdom? Why is Quebec living under democracy, a rule where there is devolution of powers, insisting time and again he wants to be independent? The Catalonians, the Basque, is this the absence of democracy? Proper distribution of opportunities? Why are states in the United States of America insisting on state laws over federal laws? Sometimes I don't understand that there is any one Ambazonian who thinks rightfully and can submit a proper argument from a sociological, historical, or legal context, or even from a human perspective approach, that we, Ambazonians, counting the last 62 years, can say with honesty and objectivity, hate Amber or like Amber, that we should have anything to do with Cameroon. Put the facts on the table. Tell me, oh, this is what we are going to lose. This highway from Bimbia right up to Idiabato, constructed by Cameroon. We do not have the monies to do that, so let's attach to them. Oh yes, this deep sea port that is bringing us revenue 200 billion amber a year, that is reinvested in education and public services. Without Cameroon, we wouldn't have had it. Oh Jesus, we are flying into the best airport in the continent, and we will lose it without Cameroon. The vice president just flew into location XX for a research visit and is reporting back to us that wow, for some of you who still have the ability to fly into Sodom and Gomorrah called Douala, tell me, even if you are leaving from an airport in which area of the world? North Korea. I know most of you don't live in North Korea. And you are landing in Sodom and Gomorrah in Douala. Do you feel like, wow, how good to be home? What is it that you crave from Cameroon? A wonderful educational system without which you wouldn't have a job? A welcome party thrown at every airport or at every gendarme checkpoint, giving you a military salute? For some of you who have flown into the United States of America, despite its flaws and limitations, when you step into a US airport, sometimes you hear welcome to the United States of America. You feel like, wow. It looks like they knew I was out. And they are welcoming me home. Fly into La République. If there was a loudspeaker, hey my friend, how much do you have in your bag? My people, I know you people think I'm mad. Yes. You people think that I'm mad, you know, I'm insisting on things that should not be insisted upon. But I can assure you all, and take this from me, whether you like me or you hate me, all of us are doomed. Whether you are living in New York, you are earning 6 million a month, you are doomed. There is a day, there is a rendezvous with destiny for all of us. For me, my only legacy is Ambazonia. That is the only true investment I will ever make in my life. Ambazonia. Any other thing, the car I drive, the house I live, either belongs to the bank. Everything is not mine. If I don't create a homeland, the children I have here, they will be driving on the left side, I'm driving on the right side, and they are wishing me well to the old people's home. And when I'm dead here, where they will bury me, they will pay tax where I'm buried. They will put flowers for the next 2 years and it will all be over. Even where they will remember me will be gone. For all of you listening to me in the diaspora, take this carefully. We are all aging. All what we are doing is preparing a place for ourselves and to bequeath it to our children. Otherwise, we will weep. You have maximum 15 years before you start crying on the streets of Europe or the United States. I told you the last time, Dr. Yombang is buried in exile. Justice Ebong is buried in exile. Ambassador Henry Fosson will surely die and be buried in exile. We don't know where Dr. Ngumnya was buried. We think that this thing is far-fetched. So our struggle is for justice. Our struggle is for our land. The only place within which our culture, our way of life can not only be protected but perpetuated, so that the children born after us, now and 100 years from now, will live in that land on a foundation of the truth, its true history, its true value, its merit, and will bequeath more or same to the next generation. That is the concept of self-preservation. If we are concerned with survival, with the basic materialism of capitalism, And every Saturday we are in some cultural association. We are dancing. We are Ambazonians. We are dancing. I'm feeling important. After that, we return to our little hideouts. The next Saturday, we are in one small place eating achu. We will weep. And then one time, when any of us dies, all of us carry ourselves. We go there, we watch you. After that, we don't even know where your body is carried to. And we forget. No place of self-preservation. No memory. No place where your grandkids could go and say, this is where dad lies. This is where mom is. And pray and get the blessings from the Spirit. That is why people fight and die for a land. Because there is more to eat. There is more to eat. So my fellow Ambazonians, before I move specifically into Ndian, I just always need to remind us of the reasons why we are engaged in this war for our own survival. And for us to know that it is very important we sacrifice to get the outcome we want. It is easy to complain. Wars are messy endeavors. Even the most trained armies, established states that have fought numerous wars, they have budgets. They find it difficult. If you ask the American war planners of the invasion of Afghanistan or Iraq, they will say it didn't go as planned. The budgeting far exceeded expectations. And so, the Ambazonian War of Independence is not going to be like Namundo Ondola Cristo or Hallelujah Choir singing. No, it's messy. And we have to sustain the funding. We have to sustain the funding. I was doing some research before this outing. And when I always tell you, be the primary investor, so you be the primary owners of the outcome. And people always say, oh yeah, you should go to Russia, you should go here. Definitely. I was doing some research on the oil wells in Dian, and realizing one of the contracts La République had with a foreign exploratory and exploitative company. The company was having 80% of the profit after expenditure. Yeah, 80% of the profit after expenditure. So if you do not make the requisite investment, some other person is going to own the land. And once they do that, they'll determine the kinds of laws you make. They'll determine the kinds of government you put in place. They'll determine the kinds of environmental protection laws that you are going to enact. And you will be wondering why, after this toil and suffering, you may have some sort of freedom, political, but there is still no economic opportunities. That is why the liberation tax was enacted. Everything we do at this stage of our struggle, the Ambazonian Governing Council does, is based on the kinds of procedures and practices we would like. Let me rephrase it. Whatever we do now, the standards we put in place now should be the kinds of standards and practices that we expect to have in Ambazonia. So, for example, if we enact a liberation tax law, what we are saying is the procedure we use in the debate on the drafts, the amendments that are made, the participatory approach in the enactment process, the different instances within the Ambazonian Governing Council that looked into that draft, the amendments, and then vote on it, becomes imbued in our psyche in the way that we can do things that are owned by the people. And once, as president, for the moment, I sign it into law and ask the Communication Council and the Communication Department to propagate, to explain, and to educate. We are following standard practices and procedures that are important in every free society. And once it goes to ADLA, the War Council, for enforcement, they work with the Finance Department for management and accountability. These are the kinds of practices we want in a free Ambazonia. But this is the most important one. The accountability, the nexus between the taxpayer and the law provider is defined by the notion of management and accountability, sustained by the notion of reciprocity. So if somebody pays the tax and then sees that is reciprocated in development, it feels good, right? Don't undermine all of these things. You may just look at it as it's not important, but if you miss this stage, and then this is how you establish an autocratic political system that undermines the very freedoms that you're fighting and dying for. So in a nutshell, we must be the people who provide, the environment within which our people can partake in their own struggle. And if we pay our taxes, and I thank the Chief of Staff of the State Department, Comrade Owane, before I came in here, he had just paid for the mother back at home and for himself. So you see how from conceiving an idea, putting a draft by the Legal and Justice Department, circulating the draft to the missions for discussions and debate, bringing it together for a joint conference discussions on the law, voting in the National Council, signing into law by the President, circulating, causing enforcement, management and accountability, and then you start seeing the result in terms of payment. You should take pride in that and take comfort in the fact that what I'm seeing looks exactly like what I'm dreaming I really want to live in. And for that alone should motivate you to pay your tax. I'm grateful to each and every one of us that has paid. As I said today, just 1,000 Ambazonians, 1,000 here in the diaspora, paying their tax will give us the opportunity to defend Bui State permanently. 1,000 of you paying your tax of $100 each will give us an opportunity to be able to defend Bui State. Remember, block by block. If you look at the big picture, it sounds scary. All right? No, take it block by block. The next 1,000, and you are able to deal with Meme. The next 1,000, you are looking at Coupe, right? The next 1,000, you can turn Bamenda into a cooking pot for the enemy. We have not even touched the one from ground zero. Investment in education. That's reciprocity, right? Investment in public health services. A healthy people creates a healthy economy and a productive population. Creates more wealth, more investment, more employment, more opportunities, and creates a happy society. That's why we fight. All right, all right. Okay, my people. Now, the state of Ndian is a mess. For all of you who come from Ndian, you know it's a mess. And I would need to do referencing, because this is very important. A moment, good people. Let's have our time. Let's have our time. And if there are questions, you put on the timeline, and I'll pick it up. You saw what I wrote today. That the distance from and this is courtesy from my top advisor, the DDC. So each time I talk, I don't only talk about things that I have researched. The advisors give me they do a lot of work to help me deliver to you some factual information. And I thank the DDC and all those, the PR and all those in the different executives who have been very helpful. That these are the people who want to reconstruct Ambazonia. Jesus. So most of you haven't been to London, but if you live in London to go to Birmingham, I think the DDC was even putting it too much, you know, by what they call the National Express, because I live in Birmingham. When I was repeating my bachelor after 13 years of having been dismissed from Boya, sometimes I live in Birmingham and I had to go down to London with the National Express. Sometimes 2 hours. And the distance 130 kilometers. And that 2 hours because of traffic. So if you go with a private car, it might even be shorter. How long do you cover that kind of distance? Where did the DDC cite that? Ambazonia has suffered. Traveling from Kumba in Meme to Mundemba in Ndian is 113 kilometers. Yeah, 113. You take 24 hours if you are lucky. Meme and Ndian are 2 of the richest states in Ambazonia. I think it's the GDC who cited this data also. 70% of the cocoa exported by Cameroon comes from Meme. Ndian is so rich that only the oil deposit in one block, selling a barrel of oil at $100, the amount of money we will get, you can share that money to 8 million Ambazonians. Each Ambazonian will have $2,500. One block. In Bakassi, a simple block has 250 million barrels of proven reserves of crude oil. Take a pen and a piece of paper. Note the next one. 208 billion. Did you hear that? 208 billion cubic yards of natural gas in Bakassi. According to Per-Toa Resources, an estimated 1.2 billion barrels of oil are still available in the Rio de Rey. That's how stupidly rich Ndian is, and stupidly rich Ambazonia is. That is just a small part of it. Clean drinking water, you don't have in Ndian. Sometimes people prefer to carry their sick into Biafra land for treatment than taking the torturous 24-hour journey, maybe into Meme. That is how abused we have been under Cameroon. Wickedness in broad daylight. I'm not done yet. If you look at the data, it's frightening. You remember when I started, I was asking the question, what is it that these people insist on having us as a colony? Why do they insist having us as a colony? Don't forget, Cameroon describes us as le Biafran, les ennemis dans la maison. All derogatory words have been attached to Ambazonians. If we are so useless, why spend 7 years in a war of attrition against a useless set of people? Our educational system you don't like, you don't even want. Our legal system you don't like, you don't want. Our culture you don't want, you don't like. What is it that you are looking for in Ambazonia? You now get the secret. Our land holds massive resources, reserves and resources. And they are in to rape us from these resources. I need to provide more data. This is very important. This is what the DDC looked into. The oil companies drilling in Ndian all have their headquarters in Douala. When you look at the data, or the data that is produced by either research organizations or contracts and stuff, you always see the Cameroon SNH building in all of those documents. All the drilling companies have their headquarters in Douala. Why? Why do you drill in Ambazonia, in the state of Ndian, and then you have all the companies that engage in drilling are in another state across the border in the littoral? And if it goes on, and no child of Ndian is employed in any of the oil companies. So if you are from Ndian, if you come from Ndian and you live in that neighborhood and you don't have roads, and every day there is environmental hazards caused by the drilling companies, you are at the other end receiving the shit, right? No opportunities. What is it that could get into your mind to think that being a slave under Cameroon is better than being a semi-autonomous state within Ambazonia, with your own state parliament being able to enact laws to protect the land and the resources therefrom, and to ensure that the taxes paid by all of those companies that are doing drilling in Dian are paid in your own state, and that your law will compel these companies to create institutions of technology to train denizens from Dian to be able to acquire the skills necessary to work in those companies, create wealth and opportunities for the other citizens of Dian. That your own state parliament will be able to enact environmental protection laws that would ensure that those companies are held accountable for any environmental hazards that may imperil your health, both in the short term and in the long term. That is the beauty of what Ambazonia offers. This is a promise that we make, because it is a promise not only because it is going to be beneficial for the people of Dian, because it is going to be beneficial for the people of Ambazonia. A kind of political arrangement that ensures that economic opportunities are distributed in a way that the production area has high benefits as an incentive to make other areas to work harder. Because Ambazonia is ours, a government of Ambazonia would see that there is no need to discriminate against another part of our country. Because Dian is not theirs. They don't have any incentive to reinvest the wealth that they create through drilling into Dian. They don't. For them, it's a wasteland. For them, the inhabitants of Dian, they are of no use. They are of no production abilities. They bring in their workers. Those drilling sites like in Bakassi that are onshore, those that are offshore, you don't even know about their existence. My people, when we talk about our struggle for freedom, it is not simply to have a different political system. It is to create an opportunity for the individual Ambazonian in the area of health, education, creativity, and public safety. This is why we fight. It's not because we hate Cameroon. It's not because we are some gun-tottering lunatics who simply just want to shoot each other. No, our journey from 1961, our forefathers tried with coexistence with the respect of each other's borders could do both sides good. No, they insisted it must be a central system managed by them, and that they must dismantle all of our own institutions and replace it by theirs, or nothing. Zero-sum game approach. For those who spoke, you end up in jail or in the grave. We have a denizen of Dian. He's here in Norway. Was a journalist who was reporting about the environmental hazard being caused by these companies. Was picked up and detained, brutalized. He ended up in exile, like most of us. You speak, you die, you go to jail, or you go into exile. You don't speak, you die, you go to jail, or you go into exile. So what would you rather do? shut up and die or go into exile or jail, speak out. In Bafaka Balue, a village in Dian, where there is a huge deposit of gold, Cameroon has been mining this for decades. The denizens of Dian cannot even go into that place. Taken over by La Republique military. Deposit of gold. The community has no roads connecting surrounding villages. No schools. They dare not get a school. Because in books lies the truth. They keep you sick. You're sick enough, you're concerned about surviving than fighting them. All what is happening to you is not by accident. It's by design. The misery you are going through is not by accident. For the 1% that has successfully escaped, you think you are living. You are not. You have a rendezvous with destiny if we don't hurry up. When I spoke about FACO, I talked about tourism. I talked about islands in Cyprus, in Greece, in Spain, in the Caribbean that earn a lot through tourism. Countries where 40% of their budget is from tourism. Not Cameroon, where 45% of its budget is used in servicing interest in loans. A state that is in bankrupt and in decline. Most of you know about the corrupt forest reserve in Dian. It holds some of the most important plant species, some that are extinct in other places. What happened? Like CDC, it was privatized. You know the story of the Heracles, the American company. These places are not only places that keep our most precious natural resources. They are also important for our health. When you see a massive piece of land with forests, it contributes a lot in environmental protection. For all of you who's done a bit of biology, the story of photosynthesis, chlorophyll, the combination between carbon dioxide and water to produce glucose, osmosis, all of these processes in plant releases oxygen, which we take in, expel carbon dioxide, which through the process of photosynthesis, the plant combine with water to produce the sugar that it saps down from the leaves downward. So these forests, the trees, the biodiversity is not only important for research, it's also important for environmental protection. It holds different species of animals, important for the creation of wealth through research, through tourism, and even through research, and the creation of more knowledge through research. So my people, we have it in Dian. If you are from Dian, tell me exactly what you benefit from it. It is also a place where your forebears taught you how to do hunting, other elephants or other animal species. You know how much money European states make to go to a simple zoo here in Norway? Cost a lot of money. Do they have lions in Norway? They don't. They've taken it from our own places, making a lot of money. For us who have it naturally in preserve, it's useless, because the reserves are privatized properties now of foreign companies for whom interest is the only thing that is important for them. Dian has the potential of having one of the biggest fish market. I was looking into the research, just the stretch of water. It's massive. The coastline is massive. Even the coastline alone. When we talked about Fako, we talk about recreation, holidays, turning those natural coastlines into little places for holiday makers, turning little islands into El Dorados for foreign visitors, and training the denizens of Dian to become tour guides, to make a living from their natural resources without destroying, just showing them and letting others to enjoy them. And then the fish industry. You and myself, we have suffered, my people. We have suffered. Remember when they were intoxicated to be singing Vasco da Gama discovered the sea road to India. Christopher Columbus discovered what? America. We were doing fishing in, was it fishing in Norway or Newfoundland? Forestry in Norway. These Nyamfukas could not teach us fishing in Dian. The curriculum of education was designed to make you look beyond your own borders. The curriculum of education was designed to make you feel like you have nothing. You have to fly into Europe or the United States before you start studying your own history. The amount of knowledge I have gathered yesterday about the BLM from my chief of staff. I was born in Ambazonia, I knew nothing. I knew nothing. Zero. How much in terms of intellectual ability has this struggle offered you? A lot. Just to know thyself. Without this struggle, I would have never known DDC Horace. I would have never known all this knowledge that I'm giving to you today. I would have never known that the name Lebialem comes from a twin waterfall. I would have never known that the name Fortebon, which sounds like Fortebon in Mancon, a bad chief. Jesus, just the beauty of knowing my country. The only thing we knew about Batibo was to provoke them on how they speak. The only thing we knew about Pinyin was to talk about them in a derogatory way. The only thing we could talk about each other was construct offered to us by force by the enemy. Now if you talk about Pinyin, you talk about resistance. You talk about Batibo, you talk about resistance. The man Conchai from Alabukam did not want to tell you he comes from Alabukam. Alabukam, country of the crab. Do you want to come from that kind of a place? But now everybody hits their chest. I come from Alabukam because that's where resistance takes place. They make you to hate your own. Oh, I'm from Douala, you know. I'm just coming from Yaoundé. You come and impress people with zero nonsense. It's like all of this nonsense we are talking. I come from London, you know, I'm coming from Washington. What the hell is Washington? What the hell is Washington? What the hell is London? Surely you are hiding in some suburbs there with mental torture. You use it to intoxicate Ambazonians. Hi! Quick for land, Vonemon. Ambazonia. Look, we are empty. Empty. The only thing we have is Ambazonia. Me, I've made up my mind. If I die today, my family knows. Whether you cremate my body, tie it inside some bundle, if we are free, you take it, you go and bury it in the cemetery of the brave. If we are never free, throw it in the ocean and live for nothing. Maybe the children will grow up, listen to this video. They will know that stood for something. They will be proud to say that's my father. Not some cheap rats in La République, money doublers, scavengers, thieves that we worship today, scammers that we are hailing them. And then you want to kill General Efan. You kill General Ivo. You know, you want to butcher the Sagat, the vultures, the capos. You call them Amber Boys. You watch US movies, war movies, they are heroes. You see how the Americans romanticize their own fighters, whether they bomb Iraq to the ground or they massacre people in Afghanistan. They are coming home to great reception. You are tarnishing the image of your own warriors. You are attacking them for the interests of the occupier. On the last day when Ambago come, oh, whether you be Chiroma, you must go. On the last day when Ambago come, oh, whether you be enabler, you must bow. They will bow to the indomitable, unquenchable, no blinking generation. Yes. Shoot the hell you want. Do what you want. You will leave our country. We will make Ndian an El Dorado. And his finest son, DDC Horace, and his people will define the laws that govern Ndian and will be able to use its resources for the interests of its people, for humanity, not loot, store in private bank accounts, and reciprocate with torture, torment, environmental degradation, and abuse. The people of Ndian will be able to have flyovers. Why not heliports, airports, where they hop from one place to the other like taxis? Because they are rich, they can afford it. But to get there, pay your liberation tax. And we will show the enemy the exit door. We will show the enemy the exit door. You can trust every word I utter. Because if experience is anything to go by, we've done better. Speaking for 1 hour. All right. My people, tomorrow what am I taking? I don't know if I may skip tomorrow. Is broadcast for Country Sunday. So I'll see you on Tuesday. I will definitely take Lebialem on Tuesday. And then after that, I am heading to Bui, where the graveyard of the enemy is quite big. Everyone on my timeline, please go on and pay your liberation tax. All of you on ground zero, for our ladies, it's 5,000 amber. You can pay through the forces in your area in exchange for a receipt, or you will be provided an avenue to pay, but keep your receipt and keep the number for posterity. God bless Ambazonia. Good night if it is nighttime your way. Good morning to those who are waking up. Good afternoon to all those who love the sun. God bless our homeland.
Amazonian brothers and sisters back home fighting for freedom. And there's not much I can do, but this I do to shine a light to the injustice to my people. And back to your question, I feel really great right now. He was a really tough guy. The more aggressive he got, the more he pumped me up to stick in there and keep fighting.
Your opponent was extremely aggressive. What did that do to you mentally? And were you surprised by his power?
Oh, no, I wasn't surprised at all. I was ready for it. But everything he did in there just turned me up more.
So what's next for the Don? Now we're 1-0 in the professional career.
Next, I'm ready for anybody. Anybody, cruiserweight, heavyweight, light heavyweight. I'm ready for you, baby. Lion fight. Let's do it.
The Don is ready.
We don't live free.